I recently won my chance to choose where our next dining review would take place, and I chose Sanaa. So I am here at Disney's Animal Kingdom Villas, Kidani Village, to check out Sanaa, which is one of my favorite table services in all of Disney World. So I chose Sanaa for several reasons, but for me, it's mainly about the memories with my family here. I've been here with my mom and my husband and my grandmother, and it's one that we all really, really love. So it's just kind of a favorite. It's also a bit comforting to me. It's located here in Kidani Village, and Sanaa actually means work of art in Swahili. It's a fusion of African and Indian cuisine made with an authentic cooking method like slow roasting and tandoori oven cooking. While Sanaa is a table service restaurant serving lunch and dinner, the spot also offers a Sanaa breakfast in the mornings, which is a quick service experience, and reservations are actually not required. If you would like to see what that breakfast looks like, Quincy has actually had a chance to experience it in her Disney Animal Kingdom Lodge Resort Tour. So if you want to see what that looks like, go check that out on the channel right now. So before we head into the restaurant, we're going to talk about one of the best parts of not just Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge, but Sanaa as well. So it's right out here, right in the back, and it is definitely the live animals that you can see throughout the resort, but you can also see them at Sanaa, which hopefully we'll be able to see. I came out just in case it gets dark while we're eating, but look at this. There's zebras up close, there's different birds. I see a giraffe in the back. This is easily one of the best parts of this entire resort, and I think it's part of what makes Sanaa so special is this just really unique experience that you can't get anywhere else. Okay, so while we've only been outside exploring for just a minute, I checked in on my phone and we're all ready to go, so we're gonna head back inside for Sanaa. So we just got seated at our table. Our waitress said it was absolutely her favorite table, and I can see why. We are right up against the windows, and look at this. I can literally see 3 wildebeest not far away at all, right in front of the window. This is the best time. We're here around 6:30, so the sun is setting. It's not too hot outside, and the animals are very active. Oh, look at that beautiful giraffe right out the window. Oh, and look at this friend just coming to say hi. So here at our table, when we first sat down, it's very simple plating, just a nice little shareable plate, and then your lovely fork and knife. But the best part is absolutely this view. I mean, I can't stop staring. I know I need to be doing other things, but there's 2 giraffes just casually walking around right in front of my eyes. And that's incredible. So I'm actually here with another reporter tonight, but here's just a quick glance of the Sanaa menu. So we have some specialty cocktails, we even have some non-alcoholic specialties, lots of draft beer, and then they also have a loose leaf pot for Joffrey's. You can check out some of the appetizers like the Samoa seasonal soup, lamb kefta, and the salad sampler. The seasonal soup right now is actually a tomato. And then we get into the exciting stuff, all of the different spice route favorites, different inspired journeys with Journey and Harvest. Then we have the dinner glossary, because of course you need that everywhere you go, just to kind of explain some different things that maybe you're not super familiar with. Now, like I mentioned earlier, we're here around 6:30. It's getting closer to 7 now, but I think the best part about the time that we're here is the sun is casually setting, so the animals are really active, but it's not dark. That's the one thing I have been here at Sanaa at a nighttime reservation. The animals aren't necessarily always out, and if they are, you can't really see them, so maybe consider doing an earlier reservation here rather than a later one, because you might miss out on what is easily the best part of this entire experience. So while we are hanging out here, the restaurant is super lively. There's lots of families in here, lots of big areas, everybody chatting. Now there is also a bar that you can walk up to, which is really nice, especially if you didn't manage to grab one of those reservations or you aren't using the walk-up service. So here's a glimpse at that bar. I have had dinner here before. If you don't necessarily want to grab a reservation or you don't want to be kind of tied to that, this is a great option for you. Now, outside of the view, the second reason that you need to come to Sanaa, and my personal favorite, again, after the view, is the Indian style bread service. So this is 5 different breads with 9 accompaniments. So first we have traditional naan, garlic ginger naan, spice naan, onion kulcha, or even paneer for our breads. We have several dips over here, with these 2 being the spiciest, and then working all the way down to kind of the most mild and the sweetest. We have cucumber riata, roasted red pepper hummus, mango chutney, tomato jam, tamarind chutney, coriander chutney, garlic pickle, a red chili sambala, and a spicy jalapeno lime pickle. I'm so pumped. Okay, for our drinks tonight, I grabbed the African Star Mojito. It is one of the signature cocktails here, and it's Star African rum, tangerine liquor from South Africa, fresh lime juice, and mint. And then over here, this might just look like a regular glass of wine, but it's actually the spice root shakalaka. This is one that is actually from Africa, and you can actually only get it in 2 places, which is here, and then Jiko, the cooking place. So we had to grab a specialty wine. Okay, first up, I'm gonna try my mojito. So this is actually, I think, a really nice mojito. It's really smooth, which I like. The alcohol is very, very faint. It's a lot sweeter than I anticipated as well, which I'm never upset about a sweet drink. It's not a very special mojito. It's not overly special, but it is really, really nice. Kind of just a normal across-the-board mojito, but I think the alcohol and the liquor in it is very smooth, and I think you can tell that it's a higher quality than maybe some others that you find around Disney World. Now, in all honesty, I'm gonna be totally transparent with y'all. I know I'm not gonna like this wine. I am like a sweet wine drinker. I don't traditionally go for a red. I normally go for like a dessert wine, but we're here, we have it. I have to try it just to know. I'm actually quite pleasantly surprised. I would not necessarily want an entire glass of it. This is one of their alternative kind of blend options, so it's not as dark as it could be. It's really full-bodied. It's very robust. Almost, oh, just a moment. Sorry, I just really wanted you to see that. I needed to pause my wine talk so you could see this, friend. Going back to the wine is actually really, really nice. I am surprised by that. I don't traditionally like red at all. I think I can actually have a full glass of that and feel pretty satisfied and pleased with it. It's a lot lighter than I anticipated, but still kind of full-bodied in the sense that you get a full sensation when you're drinking it. It's also a lot fruitier than I anticipated. It's not fruity in the sense of like a cocktail, but for a red wine, I think it's really nice. I will also say this wine, it leans on the cab side. I think it's more of a Cabernet. Okay, so we've tried the wine, we've tried mojito, we've seen giraffes. Now it's time for the real reason I want to eat here, the bread service. If you haven't had this, I am not exaggerating at all when I say that it's life-changing, the next big thing, the it girl of Sanaa, the reason that you should come here. That's not an exaggeration at all. Okay, we're gonna try every single sauce together. The naan is incredible. It's very robust, very pillowy. Very excited, but I'm not going to review every single naan, but I will review every sauce. So we're going to start hottest and go lightest. This is the chipotle. Immediately there's seeds in my mouth. This is going to be the red chile sambal. Just the hottest. Okay, so I'll be honest with you. I don't take heat super, super well. I can tell that the seeds are absolutely in this. It is honestly a lot more than Disney hot. So when we say things are Disney hot, it's when Disney calls something spicy and it's really not spicy. This is truly spicy. It's not super bad. It's more of just like a little bit of an uncomfortable heat. It's very tasty. Although I will say, if you are someone who's faint of heart when it comes to spice, especially seeds, maybe skip this one because my mouth is a little numb, just like a little. Next up is the spicy jalapeno lime pickle. Okay, this one's actually so nice. It is on the warmer side. It is not nearly as hot or as spicy as the last one. And I think that's mainly because of the pickle in it. kind of cuts through that jalapenos taste. So it kind of starts you off with a tiny little bit of heat. Like this is Disney hot to me, so not truly hot. And then immediately cuts through with that kind of savory, almost bread and butter pickle. Okay, next bite is for coriander chutney. This is really nice, very mild. Almost reminds me a little bit of like an oily pesto. That's not necessarily the best description of it, but that's kind of what I have reminiscent. I don't know if it's because of the color that my mind is associating it with that, or if it truly tastes like that, but yeah, kind of like an oily pesto to me. Very nice. I've also decided right now that I want to give these each a ranking. So I'm gonna go Animal Kingdom rides as these sauces. For the first one, for the chili, definitely dinosaur. It's the spiciest ride in Animal Kingdom. Everybody's a little scared of it, and some people shouldn't ride it. And I think that that's a beautiful thing. The next one, I'm gonna say the jalapeno, probably Expedition Everest. Maybe too hot for some, but for most it's a little sweet at the end. Kind of fun. For the pesto, I'm gonna give it probably a NAVI River Journey. Very nice, beautiful, but not necessarily gonna like shock some people. But visually, it's good to look at. Okay, next up is the garlic pickle. That's really nice. It is not gonna give you dragon's breath if that's your concern. You know when you have garlic and your breath becomes really hot and gross? That is not gonna be a concern. It's cooked really well. It almost is kind of like a sweetness. There's a sweetness to the back end of it. Very nice, no heat at all. I'm gonna give this one, we might be too early in, but I'm gonna give this one a flight of passage. It's nice, it's simple, it's tasty though, and is a crowd pleaser. Okay, next up is the roasted red pepper hummus. This one is very nice. It's one of those that's a little bit more approachable. A lot of people have had hummus. It's not as new as maybe some of the other dips. Very nice. I love it. It's pretty robust. It's a little bit more on the grainy side. It's not as smooth, so if you have texture issues, kind of consider that. Nice and savory. Very much like an earthy chickpea flavor. I had this one specifically when I did the Wild Africa trek over in Animal Kingdom, which is an incredible experience. If you haven't done it, if you want to splurge on something and you come to Disney World a lot, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. When you go to the Wild Africa trek and you have your kind of little lunch snack period, you get to do that on the safari. Like you sit in the safari and you eat and you watch animals come up to you. A little bit of a more like nice experience even than this because there's no windows, it's completely open air. So because of that, this has to be, ranking wise, this has to be Kilimanjaro Safari. Next up, we're gonna go with the tomato date jam. Might be one of my favorites so far. It is light, it's sweet, it is very much a jam, so the consistency is a lot lighter than the other things that we've had so far. I actually get a lot of cumin in this, so it adds a nice kind of robust flavor, a nice spice to it. Not heat, just flavor. Really nice, on the sweeter side. And because it's a little sweet, I'm gonna call this one the Feathered Friends in Flight show, because that show is always so sweet and it makes me love the birds and conservation and everything about Animal Kingdom. So this one is Feathered Friends in Flight. Next up is the tamarind chutney. My first thoughts is that this one is almost a little bit of like a sweet barbecue flavor. Very nice. It's similar texturally to the tomato, so a little bit more smooth, not so thick. I think sweet barbecue is the best way to kind of explain this one. I'm actually going to give this one a Festival of the Lion King. I know that's not a ride, but an attraction, because it's robust. It's really nice. I think a lot of people will love this one, and it's also a little sweet. Okay, mango chutney. The mango is very fruity, it's nice, it's light, it's simple. It's a crowd pleaser, especially for kiddos. It'll be one of the most familiar flavors that kids find if you have your kids with you and you're trying out this whole spread. I think because of that, I'm gonna give it Rafiki's Wildlife Express. It's a safe option. You know you're not gonna be scared, but you might be a little surprised by how much you like it. Okay, the last of the dips, the cucumber raita. This one is light, it's refreshing, it's simple, very much just a cucumber and what feels like yogurt. You know, that's pretty much, I know that's not all of it, but that is essentially the tastes here. A lot of familiarity in this one, so I'm going to give this one a Triceratops spin. Everybody will enjoy it. You might not be super excited about it, but you'll enjoy it and you'll have a good time. Now I will say I did not rank and talk about each non-individually. However, I do think each different one adds something to the sauces. So for example, the garlic one really adds to the coriander chutney, just adds like an extra depth of flavor that you don't get with some of the more plain naan. Just incredible. I also like that some of them are incredibly fluffy, while some of them are really crunchy. So kind of texturally, you get a little bit of everything, and there's enough that you can get a little bit of everything and feel really, really satisfied. I know in the past I've been here and we've eaten a lot throughout the day, because you're at Disney World and you eat a lot. And we got here and we went so hard on the bread service that we both got entrees and almost couldn't eat them. So I highly recommend going really hard on the bread service. And then if you're not super, super hungry, consider only getting one entree and, you know, maybe share it. Sanaa is not the cheapest place you're ever going to eat, which we'll talk about in a little while. But as far as quality goes, this is worth the cash, and splitting this and an entree can really help you enjoy the experience without breaking the bank. Okay, so our waiter actually saw us, you know, of course, trying everything out and giving everything a full review. So he brought us out this special Pili Pili sauce. It is a few notches higher than the hottest sauce we've already tried, and this is only available by request. So let's give it a shot. Another friend has stopped by for a little bite for dinner. We haven't tried the hot sauce yet, but I think he wanted to see full review. It looks like he had some, and maybe that's what happened to his hair. I basically just wiped the back of the spoon across this. So, cheers. So our waiter warned us it's kind of a slow burn, and I already feel the burn compared to the hottest sauce we already tried. So the fact that it's like kind of subtly growing and spreading across my tongue is crazy. I barely have any. Barely had any at all, but it's so flavorful. It's almost smoky. This one, absolutely not for the faint of heart. If you love spice and you want to try something new, absolutely request this. The waiter also recommended kind of adding it maybe to your meals later. He said, for example, if you want your butter chicken a little bit more flavorful, a bit more spicy, to add it to that. So you can consider adding it to entrees, not just the bread service, but take this seriously. This is real hot, not Disney hot. Our waiter also told us if we really needed it, he would bring us more of the cucumber to kind of cut down on that heat. So if you try it and it's too much, follow up with the cucumber, it'll help. Another thing about the Pili Pili sauce that I just think is interesting is that some of the spices and the peppers in it are actually from Living with the Land. So this is one of those things that is grown here in Disney World that you actually get to consume from a Disney attraction. And that is so crazy to me. Major shout out to our waiter for telling us about this and like letting us know about this experience, because I never would have tried it if it hadn't been for him, so shout out to him. Okay, this friend is back again, and I love him so much. So we decided he needed a name. So this is Reggie. You guys, he's super cute. He actually just got his hair done, which just looks great, you know. I think if you guys are here at Animal Kingdom Lodge, please make sure to say hi to Reggie. He's super friendly. He just wants to have some bread service. So if you guys are willing to share bread service, of course, you know, don't do that because he's not allowed to have any. But, you know, consider it. Okay, for our entrees, we are finally ready to eat something else now that we've had our body weight in bread service. So we got 2 of the Pokita-inspired dishes. So with Pokita-inspired, you get to choose one from Journey. So that is up here, and it is a meat offering. So you can get seafood curry, butter chicken, braised beef, or pork vindaloo. And today we went with the braised beef. Then you can also get one from Harvest, which is the plant-based options. There is Rajma Masala, Chickpea Wat, Sukuma Wiki, and a lentil dal. So, and they are all served with basmati rice. So that's our first one. And then for the other one, like I said, we went with 2 Pokita inspired. It just made more sense so we could try a few more things. We ended up going with our other option with the buttered chicken and then the chickpea wat for these 2 options. Also, not that this probably matters to anyone but me, but it looks like a hidden Mickey to me. So it's kind of like a subtle Disney reference in my own mind that now you can think of too. Now I will say our waiter actually recommended kind of pouring everything out onto your plate, so kind of making a big like hodgepodge almost of the 3 items that you get. I'm gonna try them all separately and then I probably will mix together, but that is chef recommended so that way you get all the flavors at once rather than separately. Okay, first I'm gonna start simple with the rice. The rice is great. It's light, it's airy, buttery, really simple and really versatile. I think I understand why they do this. Is the one thing that you get with all of your plates, so that way it pairs with anything that you order. Next up is the chickpea wat. Oh, great. This is incredible. I could eat an entire bowl of this on its own. It is so flavorful. It's very robust, but it's also very light at the same time. So the chickpeas and the tomatoes in it are very soft, almost just kind of melt in your mouth. There's a lot of what I think is probably some cumin in here in the back. It's very flavorful, very spice forward. And I'm not a plant-based eater, but I truly could eat this entirely on its own with just the rice for my whole meal. In the aftertaste of the chickpeas, I almost get like a nutmeg or like a cinnamon, like a Christmassy kind of flavor as well. So nice. This is gonna sound really weird, but I'm almost equating it to like an apple cider with some acidity from the tomatoes, but then almost like a cinnamon kind of warm flavor at the end. I know it doesn't taste like apple cider, but that's what the aftertaste is reminding me of. I love this. The butter chicken. The first thing I have to tell you is I cut the chicken with my spoon. I love butter chicken. I was kind of a safe option when I ordered it just because butter chicken is a really nice, warm, heavy, comforting meal to me. So I went with that because I know that I love it. This is the best butter chicken I've ever had. Even from here, I don't know if the chefs just did something different to it. Just give me a moment and I'll come back to you. So this butter chicken is just incredibly comforting. It's so heavy. If you don't know what butter chicken is, essentially it's based with a spiced tomato and butter. And I think that is written all over the taste and the palate here. It's so creamy and melty and just, I don't know, it makes you feel like you've kind of been wrapped in like a warm, flavorful, savory hug. I also think that the flavors are not so adventurous that maybe a kiddo wouldn't like it. Now, not the normal kid is going to love butter chicken, but if you have a kid that wants to try something new and is feeling adventurous, I think that this is a really incredible option. One thing I will note about the chicken, I love chicken thighs. Maybe that's something unhinged to say. I do. A lot of people do not like chicken thighs, so the texture isn't quite as firm as like chicken or chicken tender. It's a little bit more chewy. If that's something that you're going to have a problem with texturally, definitely be aware of that before you order the butter chicken. Next up, I'm going to try the masala. This is also incredible. Now this one feels a little bit more paprika forward. It is very similar to the chickpea in the sense that it's just incredibly robust, very flavorful. The beans are really well prepared. They're super soft, but kind of, so have a little bit of a bite to them. I prefer the chickpea, but the masala is a really nice, safe choice. If you know that you like black beans or pinto bean, any kind of bean, that's essentially what you're gonna get. There's paprika, there's a little bit of that kind of nice spice, but it's not overwhelming. So it's very enjoyable and a very just kind of middle of the road option. All right, now the braised beef. It's melting in my mouth, just absolutely falling apart. There's a nice kind of middle, not super thick, brown gravy around the edges. It's just, again, super comforting, very wholesome, flavorful beef. Yeah, overall for the beef, I just keep going back to that pot roast texture and flavor. Towards the very end, there's almost like a little bit of a sweetness, like maybe even like some brown sugar. Again, it's very I keep saying safe options when I know I like these flavors, but I think that they are not so bold that a lot of people wouldn't like them. I think that these are a safe, adventurous meal. Now I will say, because the chef recommended it, I'm gonna mix them all together and see if that impacts the flavor or how that tastes. All right, if you don't like food all mixed together, look away, but the ultimate bite. This for me was just like full on party in your mouth. Absolutely incredible. Just chef's kiss to add them all together. I like to mix things though, not everybody does, so you do you when you're here. But the sweet, kind of buttery savoriness of the buttered chicken mixed with the sweetness from the chickpeas are just, it's incredible. It's like, you know when Remy in Ratatouille puts like the strawberry and the cheese in his mouth? That's how I feel right now. Just like, wow, so good. I love this. Can you tell? And because no meal is complete without a little something sweet, you know we had to get dessert. Now for our little something sweet, we ended up going with the Serradura. It's butterscotch pudding, almond coffee streusel, pineapple mango, and some shortbread. I actually just got a delicious dip. I'm gonna try that. Okay, this is such an intriguing kind of different mix of flavors and palettes. So starting with the butterscotch pudding, it is not like your traditional overtly sweet butterscotch, any flavoring like that. It's not your just normal butterscotch. It is a little bit grainier, and because of that you can really taste these spices in it. I am getting the faintest, like when you close your eyes and you taste it, hint of whiskey. Barely there, but it's kind of a nice just like addition like to the full bodiedness of the butterscotch mixed with the mango and the pineapple and the shortbread. Texturally the shortbread's really interesting because everything else is really smooth and sweet, and it just kind of adds a really nice crunch there. And then the pineapple and the mango are so fruity and so sweet, and they balance out the kind of grainier butterscotch really nicely. This is very nice. I will say this is probably a little bit more adventurous than some of the other things we've tried. I don't know if it necessarily would be a crowd pleaser, but it's good, it's sweet, and it's very shareable on the smaller side, so super glad we tried this one out. When you add more of the fruit, like the pineapple and things, I think the slight, and I'm emphasizing slight, whiskey flavor comes out a little bit more. It just is a really robust flavor. I'm very intrigued by it, and I really like it. And I will also stress I don't like whiskey, so if that makes you nervous about this, I don't like that flavor at all, but it's really interesting here. And it also, if you've never tasted it, you wouldn't know that that's what this is. Okay, I have officially eaten to my fullest heart's content, and I am so happy. Side note, I'm just so happy that you guys got to come experience this. We got to experience it all together. This is one of my favorites for a reason. It is just, it's so incredible here. It's so comforting, and honestly, it feels like simple genius. Like a lot of what they're doing and what I enjoy here is not like stuff that they've just outright invented, but it's so incredibly robust and flavorful. I love it here. So when it comes to Sanaa, should you eat here or should you not? I mean, biasly, I'm gonna say yes because I love it here and it's the #1 place for me in Disney World. But there are some reasons that you probably shouldn't eat here. If you wanna try something unique, this is absolutely the place for you. If you wanna try something new, this is the perfect place, especially if you've never been. It's a lot different from a lot of the options that you can find in Disney World, so I think it's a great new option. If you want something new, you want something unique, or you want something spicy, this is gonna be a great one. If you are on a tighter budget, or if you're on a strict schedule, or honestly, if you're just a picky eater, this is probably not gonna be the best place for you. Sanaa is great, it's flavorful, it's fun, but definitely not for everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I hope your dinner was just as good as mine. If you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. Now go check out how we broke the rules in Disney World. I'll see you there.